All right, so next up we have our special guest, Miss Tamika Thompson, the most energetic, full of personality, just a great overall person. So I'm gonna get her to unmute her phone. Unmute your mic, lady. How you doing
Hi, it's
today?
muted.
You made it. You made it.
I made it. Yay. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I'm very excited that you agreed to do this interview since you were definitely a little apprehensive.
Girl, people don't believe this about me. I'm really shy. I'm really shy. I'm really shy. So, public speaking, be it behind the scene, in front of a camera, contrary to what people think, it's still nerve-wracking for me. So, but I'm here.
Yes, you are. And you look so good on the camera. You should just love the camera because the camera loves you. So we're
Thank
going
you.
to just kick it right on off. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? You got brothers and sisters?
Ooh, well, my name is Tameka Thompson. I am a second child of 7 siblings.
Wow, really?
Um, yes, six, including myself. There's 7 of us, including myself. There's 6 girls, 1 boy.
Oh, wow.
There, there are 3 big girls, 3 younger girls, and the one brother on my mom's side. He sort of, split the 2 sets of girls. He's in the middle of the 2 sets of girls.
Okay.
Um, we grew up on the west side.
West Side?
Yeah, I know, right? West Side, stand up. And I come from a really big family. My mom, her family, the Johnsons, they were a big family over there in the housing projects on the west side, Rockwell Gardens. So, but yeah, and, I was a really shy girl growing up. My mom, we grew up pretty sheltered, grew up Jehovah Witness.
Really?
And yeah, although we lived in the hood, my mom was pretty strict, and so we weren't allowed to like mingle and hang out in the hood. But that's pretty much my upbringing: shy girl, West Side, Jehovah Witness type.
So tell me, I want to just touch on the Jehovah Witness part just a second. I had a cousin that grew up Jehovah Witness, and the thing about not celebrating Christmas or your birthdays as a kid, how did that feel?
Just like anything in life, when you're programmed a certain way and conditioned a certain way, it's you're conditioned to. You don't know anything different. So not celebrating holidays and birthdays, it was so common. It's just what we knew. So it wasn't anything. It didn't bother me to see other people celebrating. I mean, don't get me wrong. My dad, though, although he was Muslim at the time, I know it was my mom and dad, they never married. But at some point in my dad's life, he became Muslim. However, during Christmas every year, he would take us around the city of Chicago to see all the Christmas lights. And he would do fun activities with us like that but that's my memory of growing up. As a We didn't celebrate it, but my dad did take us around the city of Chicago to see all the Christmas lights.
All right. Well, that's good. I like the Christmas lights too. What was your first
Mhm.
job?
My first job, I was 13. My first official job. I was 13 years old. It was, remember when they would have the summer programs? I don't even know if they still have those, but they had the summer programs. We lived in the housing projects. Remember, I told you we lived over in Rockwell Gardens, and they had a summer program where the kids can come out and like help clean the neighborhood. And yeah, that was my first job. I'll never forget. I made $3.25 an hour. And I was so happy with that little check. But yep, that was my first job at 13 years old. Now, my first corporate job, I was 21. I was 21, worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois,
Oh,
downtown Chicago. Yep, that was my first corporate job at 21.
I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield when I was about 20. My mom actually retired from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Yeah.
Chicago?
Oh
Downtown
no.
Chicago?
I'm from Milwaukee, so it was Milwaukee.
Oh,
But yeah,
gotcha. Right.
my mom
Yep.
worked for Blue Cross for 29 years, and that was actually my first corporate job as well. That's interesting. We have
Wow.
uh-huh. So
Wow.
in high school, what activities did you participate in? I know you said you're shy, but I see you as a cheerleader.
I know. I know. It's so you have to remember my mom too, right? So I actually went to two high schools. The first high school I went to, my mom, she thought it was still an all-girl high school. My older sister and I at the time, we entered in high school at the same time. And my mom enrolled us at Flowers High School, which back in the day used to be an all-girls high school. But by the time we got there, it was no longer all girls. So a big situation happened up there at that school where my sister and I got jumped on. Like they jumped on my sister and I. My mom lost it. Like she came up to the school with the gun and everything, like ready to shoot
Okay.
up. Like it was crazy like that. Like, because we didn't bother anyone. Anyway, she transferred us out of that high school, and that's how we ended up in Crane High School. Get to Crane High School, same thing. While we were being enrolled, we're in the office. My mom is enrolling us in school. It's a line of boys outside the door. The principal was like, I don't know if this would be a good school for them either.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was so crazy. I did not have a great high school experience at all. So going to Crane High School, I didn't sign up for any activities. My mother didn't allow us to sign up for any activities. The only fun activity I can think of in high school, I had a teacher that took interest in me. She is who taught me office skills. At that time, speed writing was a big thing. She invested time in me during classroom time, teaching me speed writing, teaching me how to type. We typed on typewriters back then.
Yep.
She entered me into various competitions to help get my speed up. She is who introduced me to the corporate world. She was like, no, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get a good job. That was her whole mindset. And that's the only exciting thing I can remember about high school. But I wasn't involved in any activities. I know as much as I wanted to, my mother she didn't allow that. She didn't allow that, unfortunately. It was crazy, but no, I wasn't a part of any activities. I never joined any groups. I wasn't a part of anything in high school.
Wow. And I just swore you were going to be the cheerleading captain and homecoming
Oh, yeah.
queen and prom.
Mama didn't allow. Mama did. Now I was voted. I was in my junior year. No, I won like the prom court. Like I was prom queen. I was Duchess in the junior year. I was they voted, the kids like signed me up and voted me for various things in my sophomore, junior, and high school year, but it wasn't anything I participated in. That's what they signed me up for. Like I looked in the yearbook, and they had me in the yearbook as the best dressed, and I had the best hairstylist, and I was one of the most to succeed. So people voted me into things, but it wasn't like where I fully participated in anything.
Okay. All right. Okay. How old were you when you got your first place?
This is crazy. I was in my 40s when I got
What?
I was in my 40s when I got my own place. So you have to remember the way I grew up very sheltered. So I went from being under my mom's domain to my first boyfriend. He and I had a place together. That was like at 19 years old. So I was with this guy, and we were supposed to get married. I call that marriage off. That's a whole nother story. But I went from my mom's house to my first boyfriend, living with my first boyfriend, to my first husband. So I never lived alone until, my first divorce. My children, I moved to the north side, and that was my first apartment in my 40s.
Okay.
Yeah, and my first apartment in my 40s.
All right. Well, hey, you got married. I got married young too. I did have my own place at 18. That didn't last too long though, because then my boyfriend at the time, who's also my oldest daughter's father, he moved in with me, but it was mine initially.
Right, it was yours. No, my boyfriend I was dating at the time, his parents were real big into real estate, and they gave him a building. So where we lived, he owned that building, and we lived upstairs in the second floor.
Okay.
So,
well, that was good.
Yep.
You've been picking pretty good since you was a kid, huh?
I know. I think about my first boyfriend, my first fiance. His mom and I are still really good friends. She's actually a godmom of mine. I was 16 when I started dating her son. So, so she is partially responsible for my upbringing. And her and I joke a lot. And, I said, dating your son at 16, as young as we were, he did actually set the bar high, at 16, like as kids, he was such a great, I don't even know if the young girls these days even get to experience that real true puppy love, when you dress alike, you go to the game room,
Yeah.
where the little boy really just, for us to have been kids, he really did take great care of me, in terms of where we were at that time in life, that whole little puppy love thing. So, but yeah, we joke about that a lot. Like, he set the bar high, like for me to have been a kid.
Yep. Yep. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. So when did you start your business?
So it's really weird. I mean, so I was a stay-at-home mom. So I was a stay-at-home mom, and it was one of those things where being a stay-at-home mom, I just tapped into my creative side. I love accessories, right? So I used to spend a ton of money on accessories. And so what happened is during my time of being a stay-at-home mom, I started creating my own leather earrings. Not to start a business, but just to do something and just, just to tap into my creative side. I was forced into starting a business with that because when I would be out, people would ask, where did I buy my earrings? Where did I buy my accessories? And, I made them myself. And people were like, can you make me some? No, I don't make it for other people. But after a while, I was forced to start a business with that. So before the whole Sassy Thrifters, I had a business called Sasseries, accessories for the sassy girl. And I made all these funky leather bracelets, rings, earrings, necklaces, accessories, any accessory you could think of. I I would make whatever custom pieces. And so like I said, that developed into a business. I did that for several years. And then the whole Sassy Thrifters brand came about. It initially was started as a way to just pay homage to my mom. So it was one of those things where I created a page just to honor my mom and her whole thrifting. My mother was the quintessential thrifter. And at that time in life, I was really missing my mom and was trying to stay connected spiritually with my mom, and decided to create a page in honor of her, just to kind of talk about the things she loved, the one thing she loved, which was thrifting. And it just blew up and evolved into something I totally was not expecting. So the Sassy Thrifters was created April 2016. To answer your question, it was created April 2016. No, I'm sorry, April 2015.
Okay. And so when you started the online, you said you started an online site, a page?
For which one? The leather business or Sassy Thrifters?
Sassy Thrifters.
Sassy Thrifters online, social media, Facebook. It's the Facebook community. We have a group page of now 30-some thousand followers on the group page. We also have a business page on Facebook where we host live videos where creatives and entrepreneurs are able to go live before our platform to showcase and advertise and market their business or product. We just started that during COVID. COVID kind of shut down a lot of the in-person things we were doing as a group. And so we had to take it virtual. It was one of the ways I had to pivot to keep the group engaged, to keep things kind of moving along. I went virtual on the business page. So that's been going on now, 2 years? 2 years, I guess, whole last year and then this year. So, but yeah, so both businesses, Sassy Thrifters completely took over my life. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it to blow up the way that it did. That's what took me away from the making my leather pieces. I didn't have any time to do it. I just didn't have any time to do the leather stuff. Sassy Thrifters completely took over. So yeah, it's a mobile, it's a community-based organization. We do have a website, www.sassythrifters.com, where you can keep up with, a lot of the things we have going on if you're not a social media person. But we also have an IG page, we have a Twitter page, we have a LinkedIn page, we have a Pinterest page. So we're all over social. We have all the social medias except TikTok. And folks keep telling me, you have to get on TikTok. I can't keep up. I can't keep up.
Yeah, that social media thing, that is a challenge for me too. And I do the media stuff, but since I'm kind of, you've done great because you have a team. I haven't been able to keep my team together because I have so many things that are going on. And it seems like they get in and they're really into it initially, and then they become overwhelmed. And the next thing I know, I'm like, okay, can I get your project sheet back?
Right.
But having a team and having someone that actually just does your social media is important, actually.
Yep, it's very important. And try to build a team, a solid team. I mean, you're gonna go through quite a few people to even get that. I mean, like I said, I've been building Sassy Thrifters brand for 6 years now, and I've had to change out some folks. Some changes have happened. Quite a few changes have happened, and you just have to stay prayed up, and you have to really pray for your brand, your business, to manifest what it is that you need. When you need a team, I'm like, I need a team. I did a lot of those things by myself at the beginning of growing the brand, and then I realized like I can't keep up. Like it became overwhelming. So having a solid team is extremely important. Finding people that are excited, just as excited as you are, that see your brand, your business as their baby. You know what I mean? They have to be just as excited as you are, bottom line. And so I've been blessed to have a few solid women who have been riding this thing out with me, even when, I'm going through some personal issues and I need to step back, fall back. They have stepped up in a tremendous way. And that's all thanks to God. I mean, because I pray like, okay, I can't, because I'm one of those people, my energy, my stars have to be aligned to give my best, and if you're going through some craziness in your personal life, it's, I don't want to cheat people and half-ass people and not give them who I authentically am. And so sometimes you got to take a step back, take a little breather. And the ladies that I have on my team, they have really stepped it up for me. They've really stepped it up. So I'm thankful to them. I owe them big time.
Girl, yes, that team is something else. So you also do like healing events, right?
Well, like I said, with COVID has kind of shut down a lot of the in-person things. But one of the things we do is every quarter we host various workshops where we may have an expert to come out and we touch on different subjects. It may be mental illness, it may be healing, it may be, life after divorce, different things. So we've hosted various workshops every quarter.
You have to make sure that you send me that information because I'm sure I have an audience for that for you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely got to work together with that. Absolutely.
And then, of course, I have to ask you about my favorite of your events so far, the Polo Classic Brunch.
So again, every year I host a brunch, and again, it's in honor of my mom. And what we do is we change the theme every year. So this year was the Polo Classic Day. And I got that idea, that inspiration from, I took a group of ladies to New York. No, I'm sorry, to Jersey. I took a group of ladies to Jersey a couple years ago to experience the Polo Classic. I mean, it was the actual Polo Classic. Like it was the game. Like there was the actual polo game going on, and it was quite the experience. And it was beautiful. It was just a sea of beautiful Black people, men and women everywhere at this huge park in Jersey. And I'm like, why can't we have this experience in Chicago? Like I want to bring this experience. Of course, like, there's no place to have a polo game or anything, but just bringing the Black people together and everyone dressing up in all the beautiful colors and just the energy and just the whole vibe of the Polo Classic. I wanted to bring Chicago that experience. And that's how the whole theme, the Polo Classic theme, came about. It was inspiration from the actual Polo Classic we attended in Jersey a couple years ago, where I took a group of ladies.
Okay.
So this year for next year, the theme, of course, everybody's like, no, keep it Polo Classic. I'm like, no, every year I just feel I need to change the theme every year just to give people a different experience. But yeah, they love that Polo Classic so much. They want me to do another one next year. I'm like, no, we're going to do a prom night next year. That's going to be the theme next year, prom night.
Okay, I guess I'll start looking for my outfit now.
Yes, I look for your outfit now. So, but yeah, it's that whole brunch is in honor of my mom, and the whole premise of it is to get the community of beautiful Black people together so we can break bread and enjoy one another and dance and eat some good grub and sip on some cute and listen to some music and just vibe out as a community.
Yes, you had one of my favorite performers there, the Javon Watson Experience.
Yes.
I'm actually interviewing him on the 20th. So
I'm definitely tuning in.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I love their whole band. So how did you choose the name of your business, Sassy Thrifters?
So, as strict as my mom, So, everything goes back to my childhood. It's actually something my mom, I got in trouble a lot for being what my mom called sassy. It's like, oh, you're sassing me, you're being sassy. And as a child, of course, I didn't understand what that meant. All I knew as a child, I just had things to say and I wanted to communicate things to my mom. And, the parents back in those days, children were to be seen and not heard. And so if you were a child that spoke anything, if you were vocal about anything, you were considered sassy or fast or, rebellious. And that really wasn't the case. You were just a child that just, I should say I was a child. I was just a child that I needed to know why things were operating. I was that kid, who, what, when, where, and why. I asked all the who, what, when, where's, and why. And so that's how that whole name came about. It's me taking the negative and putting a positive spin on it to say, hey, Sassy is a woman who knows what she wants and she gets what she wants.
And she has something to say.
And she has something to say. And the whole, so Sassy Thrifter, again, it's the page was in honor of my mom. She was the thrifter, the thrift gangster, if you will. And so it was just taking those two things that's a memory of my childhood and marrying them together and coming up with Sassy Thrifter.
Okay, because that's really cute. It's really catchy. And then you show up as Miss Sassy herself, and it's just a cute thing. And I'm always amazed. I'm so amazed when I see you because you're always dressed so well. And then you always say, oh yeah, I got it all from the thrift store. I'm like, I never see that kind of stuff at the thrift store. When you showed up for my birthday with that hat on, I was like, oh man, look at her. And he's like, oh yeah, I got it all from the thrift store. I'm like, you got that from the thrift store?
No, actually that hat, you're talking about that big straw hat?
Yes.
That big straw hat I got it secondhand from one of the Sassies, because they do the reselling, the lives that I have where people go live and resell their personal items. So yeah, I bought that. So when I'm not thrifting, I'm shopping secondhand with our resellers, or I'm supporting Black businesses. So I do shop retail, but it's mainly Black-owned businesses when I'm splurging. If I'm shopping in a department store, I'm typically on somebody's clearance rack. But yeah, that head-to-toe outfit was secondhand. The dress was thrifted, the shoes were thrifted, and the hat was purchased secondhand by one of the Sassies off the live shopping party.
And girl, you look like you had stepped right off of a runway.
Thank you for that. It wasn't always like that though. I gave my mom a really hard time buying my things secondhand. I thought it was cruel of her to buy my things secondhand, and I gave her the blues. I gave my mother the blues about buying my stuff secondhand. It was embarrassing. All the things you feel when you're a kid and your mom is buying secondhand. It says to the world that you're poor. It's just all those crazy thoughts I had as a kid. And what I realized, when I became a mom myself, and therapy, what I realized is that therapy was really therapy. Thrifting was really therapy for my mom, and it became therapy for me. So it was one of those things where I would go into these thrift stores trying to feel a connection with my mom. My mom has been deceased, just so you know, for 20 years now. My mother died of lung cancer at 44. I have officially outlived my mom. She was 44 when she died of lung cancer. And thrifting, you can find my mother in thrift stores. Like if my mother gone missing, you'll find in one of the thrift stores. And I didn't understand it as a kid, but going through my own things in life and having my own children, I turned to thrifting. So I essentially became my mom. I turned to thrifting as a form of therapy, and to feel some sort of connection, to stay connected with my mom. I felt like that was a way for me to feel what I need, missing my mom, missing calling out her name, missing saying the word mom, and her touch and her words and her love. And I started going into her favorite thrift stores just so I can feel her presence. So that's how it all started. But I didn't grow up loving thrifting. I just have to put that out there. I fell in love with thrifting over the course of building the brand of Sassy Thrifters in the last 6 years.
Okay. Well,
and the life. Mm-hmm.
You certainly do well pulling those outfits together. I might need you to dress me one day. You know, maybe
I got you. I got you. I got you, girl. I got you.
that's a little branch off. You could do like styling for other people, especially.
I've been asked that numerous times, but I don't. I dress crazy. I don't want to put that on nobody.
You'd be so cute. And I know when you have your own little funky style going on. I've seen you with your own little funky style going on too.
Thank you.
So
Yep.
aside from having your kids, what's been your proudest moment in life in general?
My proudest moment outside of my children, as it relates to my personal life or my business.
Personal life.
One of my proudest moments is surviving some things that I thought was going to take me out. It is pushing through some heartache and some pain that I thought would paralyze me. Just pushing through. I as a child, I watched my mom. I watched some things take her out. Hence why she probably lost her battle to cancer quicker than most. Just my ability to fight through things that were meant to take me out. Those are proud moments for me. And then I come out and I'm like, wow, Tamika, you did that. Like you pushed through that. Like it didn't take you out, and to come out of it with a sound mind and still with joy in my heart, and so those are my proudest moments, is when I break through something and I get through something that I feel that was meant to come and to destroy me.
Your resilience.
My resilience. Absolutely.
Those are my proud moments too. So what's your proudest moment in business?
In business, just hearing the different testimonies from the Sassies, thanking me for helping them come out. I've been told quite a bit that I've helped a lot of people come out of the closet.
Oh Lord, is that a play on words?
I know it's a play on words, but you have a lot of closet thrifters, people who still walk around with that shame of buying secondhand, and people walk around, it's this whole taboo that, ooh, you're buying something dirty and it's used, or just all those crazy preconceived notions that people have about people who buy secondhand and thrifting, being told that, thank you, I don't have to run and hide and sneak to thrift stores. Thank you for making it cool to shop secondhand. Thank you for showing that you can be frugal and fierce, that you can be a diva on a dime, and so those are my proudest moments, hearing things like that, like making thrifting cool and changing the whole narrative around secondhand shopping and helping to change the mindset of shop thrifting. So, but yeah, those are my proudest moments, hearing those testimonies from others. Like, thank you. I'm out and about. I don't care where I'm at. Somebody's gonna walk up to me and thank you for what you did, what you're doing for the community, and you helped me come out of the closet with thrifting. And look, I bought this dress. I love when people walk up to me like, look, I got this from the thrift store. Look, I got this from the Goodwill. I'm like, yes. So yeah, those are my proudest moments, hearing people just light up and just not be ashamed to share that they shop secondhand.
I like those sound bites you just had. What was it, Diva?
Frugal and fierce and
Frugal and
Diva.
fierce. Yep, those are cool little sound bites. Frugal and fierce. Hey, I like that. So, what was your toughest moment
with that stuff? I'm sorry.
What was your toughest moment?
Oh, my toughest moment, like you said, trying to build. Well, first of all, building a brand. I'm not at the beginning. I was, I'm a big. I should say, I used to be a big people pleaser. Try to please everyone. Still upsetting somebody, even with trying my best to please everyone. Someone always walked away upset about something I didn't do. I didn't say. You didn't post a picture of me. You didn't put. Just dealing with all of that. Yeah, just everything that comes with building a brand, trying to get a solid team together and posting your material and posting your content, and people not reading all the detailed information you just posted, and just feeling like inadequate. There were a couple of times at the beginning I was thinking about deactivating the page. I'm like, okay, it's just too much. Like, this was just supposed to be a fun page that I created in honor of my mom. And then all this other stuff came with it. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I didn't sign up for this. This is just supposed to be a fun page, you know. But the answer I got from God is this is not about you. This is not about you. It's more than just thrifting. And so then that's when I had to come up with, okay, the whole slogan of we do more than thrifting. This is actually a movement. Like, we literally save lives. These are things people have shared with me: changing mindsets, saving lives, building a community of sistership. But yeah, it was a lot at the beginning. It was a lot. It was really tough for me to keep going, because a lot of times I questioned if my mom would in fact be, with the way I grew up, very sheltered. We weren't allowed friends, that sort of thing, to now, you know, curating a group of women, of 30,000 women with my mother. Is this something she would be proud about, considering how sheltered I grew up and not being allowed friends, and, you know, her instilling in me, you know, everybody's not your friend, and then having this group of all these women, and I'm like, you're my friend and you're my friend, we're all friends.
I'm sure she'd be proud of you.
I'm sorry?
I said, I'm sure she would be proud of you. You know, everybody kind of works from where they are. So your mom probably had her own experiences that she was working from. I'm sure she'd be really proud of the woman that you became.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah. So those were some of the tough moments at the beginning, you know, trying to figure all this thing out and trying to plant my feet on solid ground and have a solid community, and coming up with a mission and the purpose, and really giving the people what they need, providing the people the resources that they need.
And so what was your toughest moment in life in general?
Toughest moment in life, it was my son. My son really changed. My son grew me up. I was the type of person, the way I operate is anything that took me out of my natural element, took me out of the essence of who I am, which is a happy-go, joyful, jovial, happy-go-lucky, yes, tend to live in la la land. I like to float around like that. That's the essence of who I am. My son presented some challenges that I wasn't prepared for. I didn't have the tools for, and he broke me down. My father never brought me to my knees. Ain't no man I ever dated brought me to my knees. My son brought me to my knees. And that was about a good 12-year run with him. Oh yeah. I mean, we were in every therapy session at the children's hospital so I can understand what was going on with him, so that he can trying to provide him coping skills with the different things he was struggling with. It just seemed like every year was something different that he struggled with, and I had to go on that journey with him. And I can't just leave my son, right? My way of dealing with things is just not to deal with it. That's how I dealt with things up until my son. I just didn't deal with stuff, and I was forced to deal with life and these things that were happening, and it was really tough for me. But we got through it. I pulled him out of 6th grade just to love on him. I actually pulled my son out of school and homeschooled him in his 6th grade. And that completely changed both our lives around. And we've just been having this little love making contest since, you know. So.
That's so
yeah.
Homeschooling is not easy. I've had a couple of friends that have attempted that, and that's not easy. So kudos.
Nope.
I wouldn't do it. If I had to homeschool my kids, oh my God.
It's a stay-at-home mom. Is people think that's like, I don't know why in the Black community stay-at-home mom is that title is sort of frowned upon. But it ain't nothing easy about being a stay-at-home mom. It's one of the toughest jobs out here.
It is. I was a housewife when I was married, and I wouldn't want to do that again.
That's how I got into making accessories and all this other stuff, because I'm like, I can't just be in mommy world. I had to find something to tap into my creative side. I had to tap into a creative side so I can stay connected to the real world. You know what I mean?
Right, because you're just off with the kids and the house.
Yep.
Then the man comes home, but then he goes away again, and he gets to interact with other grown people and have grown conversations. And here you are, you know, yeah,
Exactly.
that was definitely tough. So this time next year, what do you hope to have accomplished?
This time next year, what would I hope to have accomplished? Well, right now I'm trying to get certifications. I'm working on several certifications that would allow Sassy Thrifters to move into the real estate industry. I want to create something with everything that I went through during my divorce, not wanting to live in a shelter, not necessarily wanting to live with loved ones, family, or friends, but just needing a place where I can go to get my mind right, like something like a transitional home, something really nice
Mhm.
for those moms that may be going through a divorce or maybe going through a transition in life and need a really nice place to reside just to, while they go through that. I want to create something like that. And so that's what I'm working on.
I can definitely help you find a building. You know, I'm into the building side too.
Yes, we need to talk about that. We spoke about that briefly, but yeah, we need to speak further about that. But yeah, I'm working on some certifications, and hopefully next year around this time, I will have something up and solid and going.
All right, that sounds good. So, you know, most people know me for relationship discussions. So anybody that comes on my show, I have to ask
Mhm.
them some relationship questions. So, are you single, pretty lady?
Am I single? I am not single. No, I've never been single. I've never lived a single life. I don't know, some people may frown upon this, but I've never been single. I've never been single.
That's tough because you know I lived that same life for a long time until about, well, honestly, I'm single now, but I've only been single for 2 years, and
Okay.
I've been in relationships back to back as well. And I find that being there's a peace to being single. There's a
There's a
peace
peace.
to it that I kind of like.
Mhm.
It's a comfort, you know, because you're in control of everything. But anyway, so you're not single. So my next question for you then is, what was it about that person that made them the one?
What was it about the person that made him the one? Um, so okay, there was this energy. He and I went on a date and I really enjoyed our date. I mean, we were laughing and we were talking and we were mingling with the server, and it was just a beautiful night. I just love his energy and I love his look and I just enjoyed him. It was just this instant connection. And then after the date, we went to his friend's boat. They were having something on her boat, and his friends were really nice. It was like I had known these ladies forever. And we're out on their boat and we're listening to house music and just the whole vibe of them. And I'm like, the friends really sealed it for me. Like, not only is he cool, but his friends are like super dope. You know what I mean? So it was just this whole energy thing, this instant connection. And a week after that, days after that, us talking and meeting up. I love his interaction. I love watching him with his other friends, and they have all these wonderful stories that they share. And he's just, the way he loves his family and his friends, like that. I love men that care about relationships. He seemed to really care about his relationships with the people in his life. And and that's what sealed it for me, just his interaction with his family and his friends and his relationships. I mean, he's really into maintaining his relationships. I like that. I
Okay.
like that.
So
Mhm.
what would you say is the biggest challenge of relationships and how do you handle it?
Hmm. For me, it's been communication. Um, I don't do well with controversy. I don't do well with disagreements. Remember, I told you I oftentimes live in this bubble, this la la land that I'm happy. I'm my happiest when I'm at la la land, right?
Okay.
And so when it's time to talk about real stuff and real situations, I tend to shy away from them because it takes me out of my natural, you know, this natural bubble, this bubble that I live in. It forces me to deal with reality. And so I have to learn to communicate better, to communicate effectively, not just shut people out, not just shut down and shy away and disappear. You know what I mean? Like I have to learn to effectively communicate in my relationships.
Okay. And you know, that is really good because you are acknowledging that you might be part of the challenge of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good because you know they always say women never take accountability, but
Oh no, I take accountability. I know that about myself. I know that. I know that's something I have to work on, and I am working on it. You know, I am working on it. Sometimes I do well, and a lot of times I still, it's a struggle, but I'm working on it, and I do know that is an issue of mine, a problem.
that is great. We're really proud of you for that one. So
Thank you.
my next question, if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of life advice, what would it be?
Um. So I was a kid. The advice that I would give my younger self is I would read more books. I would read more like self-help books, like books that teach you how to live a better life, you know, in terms of like I look back, like with everything I'm trying to do with my children, I wish I did that at their age. Like
Right.
learning about investments, learning about how to save money, learning about how to the things you do now, you know, at the younger age that will set you up for a great future. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
just those type of things. Reading more self-help books, reading, really taking my future more seriously, you know, and just not living, you know, when you're young, you live in that moment. It's all about living in the moment, right? You spend all your money, you do, you know, you just, and you don't prepare. I would give the advice that I would give my younger self is just prepare better for the future.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you're not damn near 50 years old scrambling, trying to figure it all out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just investing more, planning more for the future.
Because it's funny, whenever I ask this question, you know, I always think of my answers to the questions, even though I ask these questions of everybody I interview. But my advice to my younger self would be
Mm-hmm.
not focus on a man or relationship, focus on your money, real estate, and investing.
Ooh,
That
that's
is
a
my,
great one.
because the men will come if you got the money, and you know, if you're already cute, so stay in
Yeah,
shape, and you got the money, the rest of it is gonna happen anyway. Yeah, that
it's
would be my.
interesting that you say that. I was never that girl that focused on relationships, but somehow, and that's what my therapist asked me. She was like, for someone who never wanted to be married and never wanted to have children, you ended up with two children and married twice. Like, how does that happen? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But I
Something
was
happened with your
never that.
phone. Something happened with your phone. It changed.
Oh, did it? Is it okay now?
No, it sounds like you're talking through a can.
Uh-oh. I haven't moved. I'm still in the same place.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, should I? Wait a minute. Let me see if I move over here.
Did your plug come out? Do you have earphones on?
No, no, no. I'm speaking on my phone. Speaking
Okay.
on my phone, and I have it. What about now?
Now it's better. Yep.
Okay, I just walked over to the sofa.
Yeah, okay, that'll be better. All right. So now we're gonna get into a little bit of fun stuff. Who are your top 3 comedians and why?
Oh gosh. So my guy who I'm with right now, like I've been watching a lot of he loves Dave Chappelle. I've been watching a lot of Dave Chappelle as of late. So Dave Chappelle would definitely be at the top of the list.
That's funny
And
because everybody that I have interviewed since October, and I do an interview at least once a week, everybody
what?
said Dave Chappelle.
Are you serious?
Yes, everybody has said Dave Chappelle is number 1.
He loves Dave Chappelle. Like he had me watching Dave Chappelle on YouTube. I've seen him on the screen. I'm like, okay. But yeah, Dave Chappelle is interesting in the sense that he forces you to think, right? His material is stuff that people wouldn't even talk about, right? And he forces you to think about something that you may consider dark, or you know, you don't want to talk about that. He's going to talk about the elephant in the room. Okay. He's going to address the elephant in the room, and the way that he addresses it is like like no other comedian. Like it's amazing how his material is, how he delivers his punchlines, and how he could take something so dark and warp and just have you laughing. He has me laughing hysterically, thinking and laughing at the same time. So I really like Dave Chappelle. Before Dave Chappelle, like I said, my guy is really into Dave Chappelle, but I I like Chris Rock. I like Chris Rock. I don't know. He and Dave Chappelle kind of remind me of one another in the sense where they force you to think. They force you to think. So I love that about Chris Rock as well. Just the whole thinking and laughing. When Chris Rock is on, I laugh from beginning to end. There's no pause and nothing. Like you're laughing constantly, and I love to laugh. I have the loudest laugh in the room. You definitely hear me.
Chris Rock is actually my favorite comedian.
Oh
yeah. So who's your number 3?
I was trying to think of a woman. I can't think of that lady. She's a white woman. Silver. What's her name? Silverman. It's bad. It's horrible that I don't know this lady's name, but I actually like her. She's a white woman. It's Silverman something. I'm sorry. I have to get back to you.
Okay. Well, you know my number, girl. Anyway, what's your favorite vacation spot and why?
Well, my plan is to travel the world, honey. Okay, that's the plan.
Okay.
All right.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry.
I said I'm with you on that. We could do some girls trips.
Right, exactly. I can't wait for our upcoming girls trip. But no, I would love to visit the Maldives. I just left Puerto Vallarta. So far with my travels up to this point in life, I would have to say Puerto Vallarta is by far my favorite vacation that I've been on since traveling. And I've been to many places, but we were there for 8 days. The weather was freaking amazing. I love any, weather 80 and above, 80, 90 degree weather. Weather was amazing. Drinks were super duper cheap. Food was super duper cheap and delicious. People were extremely nice. I mean, it was just by far the best vacation I've been on so far.
Okay.
Puerto Vallarta.
All right. So what is success to you?
Success to me is being able to rewrite your story. Success to me is even when you don't want to do something, like let's say for instance, working out, you don't want to work out, you don't feel like working out, but you get up and you do it anyway. That's success to me. Just every day getting up, you don't want to be bothered with the kids, but you got, it's just pushing through whatever those strongholds, like whatever may have a stronghold on you, it could be anything, and just being able to work through those strongholds. That's success. That is success for me.
And how do you hope people remember you?
I hope people remember me as someone who tried her best to live life in a way, I'm unapologetic about the way I live life, and I give people permission to do that. People, I've been told that, like, oh, thank you, because you said this or because you did this, now I feel okay with saying this and doing this as well. It's giving people permission to be unapologetically themselves. That's how I want to be remembered.
All right. Well, give us your elevator pitch.
What? I don't have an elevator pitch. I need to work on an elevator pitch. My God. See, it's interesting that you say this. I said to myself, I need to work on an elevator pitch. What's your elevator pitch, Xavier?
Well, I am Xavier Fox of Xavier Fox Media and Events. I produce shows and events. Right now, I do the radio show, Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox, and I do a monthly podcast, the Xavier Fox Talk. I'm also in real estate. I don't talk much about the real estate because that's kind of, my investing side. That's my down low kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I don't talk
Mhm.
much about that side. But, the
Okay.
media and events is like my baby. And I have some really great events coming up, probably not until, well, definitely not until next year, clearly. But I have some
Mhm.
events I've been working on. So that's kind of my elevator pitch, just kind of introducing myself because I'm in media and events. So there's only so much I can say about that.
I love that. Okay, so let me give a shot at it. Okay, so my elevator pitch. My name is Tamika Thompson. I am the founder and creator of Sassy Thrifters. Sassy Thrifters was created as a way to pay homage to my mom, but it has evolved into this powerhouse of over 38,000 followers. My mission is to empower women to change the whole narrative around thrifting and to change the narrative about sistership and building community. My mission is to bless others and always um, to put positive energy out into the universe. Is that okay?
That
Like,
sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful. Yep. You might have to listen to the replay when I replay this show so that you can write that down. This just came off the top of your head. Um, and so how can people contact you? We're getting toward the end of the show. So how can people contact you?
people can contact me on Facebook. I have both a group page and business page on Facebook, Sassy Thrifters with the S at the end. I'm also on Instagram, Sassy_Thrifters. I'm on Twitter and Pinterest and LinkedIn as Sassy Thrifters. If you're not a social media person, you can check out my website, which is www.sassythrifters.com to stay abreast of all of our upcoming activities and what we're doing in the community.
All right. And so with mention of that, what do you have coming up in the next few months?
So right now we've already accomplished all of our 2021 goals. We're actually prepping for 2020 for next year. So there are no upcoming events this year, but we will host our first market. So we do everything in a quarterly fashion. We will have our first indoor vendor market in March in Evanston. We will also have a workshop, which I want to discuss further with you. So for the first quarter of next year, we will have a thrifting in Chicago bus tour. We will have an in-person vendor market, and we will have a workshop talking about relationships.
Ah,
So that's what's happening in the first quarter of next year. And like I said, if you're not on social media, you can find those details on our website.
okay, that sounds good. So do you have any final words? Because we're going to wrap it up.
My final words are just keep living life, keep smiling in spite of, get up every day, chin up. I always tell my girlfriends, chin up, buttercup, whatever you're going through, it will be all right and we will get through this. Okay.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for granting me this interview. It has been a great thing. And that wasn't so bad now, was it?
No, it was painless. As I was over here shaking in my boots.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I just thought you were just going to collapse on it.
Thank you,
You
Xavier,
did
for
great.
creating the platform and allowing people like myself to have a voice and share what it is that we're doing with the world. So we appreciate all that you do and all that you do in the community. Thank you,
Thank
Xavier.
you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now, Chicago, who do you know that always knows what events are going on? Did a name come to mind? I had a name that came to mind. It was Tameka Thompson, but she said she couldn't do it. But anyway, if so, please connect me to them. If you are a promoter in Chicago and would like to Zoom in on Thursdays to promote your upcoming events or shows, please visit my Facebook page, Xavier Fox, to get Zoom info. My monthly podcast yesterday was amazing. We discussed the evolution of relationships. Men and women shared their point of view on how dating, relationships, and the view of marriage has changed. And we came up with a lot of different things. Finances, and social media were two of the big ones that have added to the change in dating, relationships, and the view of marriage. I had some of your favorite Facebook personalities on for this discussion, and they definitely did not disappoint. The show aired live on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel, Xavier Fox Media. visit my YouTube channel, Xavier Fox Media, and click subscribe so that you can get all the updates on the upcoming podcast. And you can watch all my older talk shows and the podcasts you've not seen yet. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn as Xavier Fox. That's X-A-V as in Victor, I-A-F-O-X, Xavier Fox. My book, The Men in My Life and What I've Learned, is available on Amazon in Kindle format and paperback. You can also purchase an autographed copy on my website, xavierfox.com. Be sure to visit my website for information on all upcoming shows and events, as well as merchandise such as t-shirts and coffee mugs. I didn't even know I had that. So I am signing out till Thursday's lunchtime talk from 12 to 2 Central Standard Time. We'll come back strong with Inyatu and his show, A Man's Viewpoint of Relationships. Last time he caused quite an uproar with his show on submission. Excuse me, I do have a cold right now. Then our DC correspondent will be back with What's Hot, weekend events, celebrity gossip, and movies to Netflix and chill. So I will talk to you Thursday. Until then, stay safe and be prosperous.